Hey everybody. So it's been a while. I got married. I'm buying a house. So there's been a few other things on my mind and that's been going on other than, focusing on YouTube. So hopefully there wasn't anything like super pressing with data analysis that I missed. Any questions in the comments of any of the previous videos or anything like that that I missed. But hopefully moving forward, I'll have a little bit more time to do stuff like this and to make videos again. So anybody who has questions or anything can go ahead and drop them in the chat if they jump into this live. And if not, you can leave it as a comment afterwards and I'll try to get back and answer it. But I just wanted to jump on for a few minutes, answer a couple of questions, and just explain kind of where I've been for anybody that might be wondering. But I did get a couple questions in the Discord. So if you are interested in joining that, I'll put that down in the description. You can join that. It might not show up until the recording of this is uploaded. But first question comes from Suchin D. Let me find that real quick. So Suchin D in the Discord said, it's been a month since my classes have started, and I got to know that there aren't any data science related courses at my uni, but I still don't know if I want to get into it or not, although data science might be the future and it is lucrative to say the least. Or maybe join a private firm or a corporate firm as a statistician, data analyst, or go outside of my country for a master's. I'm still lost and I want to choose a route so I can focus on where I want to go. This question is a bit long, so for all those three paths, I'd like to know your opinion of a fellow statistician who's been on these paths. As for choosing, I think it's up to me, but I'd at least like to know everything about them. So first, I'm not a statistician. I didn't go through the schooling or whatever master's or doctorate you might need to get into being a statistician. So as far as your three paths, one being going through with data science, joining a private firm as a statistician or data analyst, or going outside of your country for a master's. I think, let me know if you can't hear me. Hopefully you can. But of those three options, one being data scientist, going to be a data scientist. You might still need to get a master's for that. Anyways, even though you don't have data science courses at your uni, um, I think you're going to have to go to a master's program to get some kind of data science experience. I know I've said in the past, going as a data science major, probably not a great idea. Similarly, I don't think it's a great idea to try to become a data scientist without getting a master's degree. I feel like a lot of them typically have that kind of experience under the belt, or they have a lot of experience as a data analyst or data engineer or something like that. So that one I wouldn't highly recommend. It's possible, but wouldn't highly recommend it myself. The second being joining a private firm or a corporate firm as a statistician or data analyst. This one I think is what I would recommend the most. But I personally I'm somebody who doesn't want to spend my life in school. I don't want to recommend people to spend their life in school. But it sounds like you're outside of the US, so I don't know exactly how your universities work and what kind of money you have to pay to go to university. But at least for us in the United States, it's really, really expensive to go to university. And I personally can't recommend anybody to go get their master's or stay in school longer than they need to, especially when you're in something like statistics or math or whatever you're in, Suchin. Um, I think becoming a data analyst or a similar role, maybe a data engineer, data analyst, those are probably two of the main um, jobs that you might be able to get into with that kind of degree in the data sphere. But I think if you can get some experience there, you can save up some money from working in that, or you can gain that experience that maybe eventually you could become a data scientist. I think that's the route I would go. That way you can pay off your school if you had to pay for school. I'm not sure exactly how that works for you. And then the third option, going outside of your country for a master's. Um, that's something you can do, but personally, for me, I didn't get my master's right out of school because I wanted to gain some experience before going into my master's. Master's degrees are typically more hands-on from what I hear and from what I understand. And that means that as you gain experience as a data analyst or whatever you're going to be, or in my case, as I'm working as a data analyst, you can gain that experience, go to your master's, maybe get that master's degree in like a data science type of excuse me, and a data science type of master's degree. And you already have that data analyst experience under your belt because you worked for 2-3 years, and then you go back to school to get your master's, and you kind of have that context added on to what you're already going through in your data science master's degree. That would be my route. Go with right after you finish school, trying to get into work, and it sounds like you're still in school, so I would also try to get an internship. And that's another question that comes up a little bit later with WIT or White, not sure. Um, Wit or White is in his second year, and every time he looks for internships, it seems like he never qualifies. He looked at one for Nintendo, and my graduation time is nowhere near there. So my advice for you to try to find an internship, White or Wit, is to maybe not look at like those huge companies. Like you said, you looked at Nintendo. Um, Maybe change that to something like a local company. That's kind of what I did. So there's like at the high level, you can look at sites like just type in on Google data analyst jobs, or you can look at LinkedIn and look at data analyst jobs. I don't think that's a good method. That's kind of like a shotgun approach, like just apply for as many as you can, which you can do, and you'll eventually get a call back. But personally, I applied to over 150 jobs looking for internships going into my senior year. Only two called back. Well, actually, three called back. One of them was from those high level jobs on Google Jobs or LinkedIn. And then the other two were two local companies that I went directly to their website and found the job postings there. Or I just emailed my resume and CV and told them what I was interested in, and they called back. So I think that's the best method. Find something local, find something that you're interested in. And it sounds like you're already doing that with Nintendo, but my hat's not straight. Let's fix that. And sorry for the video quality. For some reason, I couldn't get my recording software up, so I had to use my webcam. But besides the fact, um, look for something local. Look for something that you have heard of in the past. You know it's a good company, maybe. That's what I did, and check out their company websites. Not just big ones that you know of, but maybe some local ones or some semi-regional ones that you know of. Um, I think that's the best way, and even if they don't have job postings related to what you wanna do, you could always reach out, just send your resume over and say, "Hey, like, I'm willing to work for either free or low wage, and that your, experience is in blank data analysis or statistics or whatever," and then you'd love to be able to just talk to somebody and see if there's anything there that you're able to help with. Um And then finally, I think the last thing I want to end on is talking about what language or skills you need to become a data scientist. I know there's a lot of questions about data science because it's a job that a lot of people want, and a lot of people going into, statistics or data analysis, they eventually want to become a data scientist. It's understandable. It's a good job and it's high paying typically. Um, and there's a lot of people that are in the Discord that saying Java is good for, I guess that's software engineering that they said. Um, but Python will serve you better for statistical analysis. R will serve you better for statistical analysis. I don't think it's always necessarily about the tool, because once you learn one, like somebody here in the Discord said, once you learn one, it's much easier to learn others. So if you learn Python, it's much easier to learn R. If you learn R, it's much easier to learn Python in the future. I think if you're going for a data science career, Python's probably your best bet. It's going to be the easiest to learn if you haven't learned any other languages beforehand. With the nature of it using a lot of different packages and functions that are pre-built, really, it's kind of like ready out of the box. You don't have to learn a lot of like complicated coding techniques to understand Python. Same thing with R, really. Excuse me, but if you do have any interest in going into data science, I think those are the two areas that you might want to look into. And I would personally recommend Python as you go through and try to learn some data science skills. But that's not the only thing, because you're also going to need to know things like SQL, which aren't super hard to learn. but I think it's a good idea. And even having a basic understanding of how you would work in something like Excel or Google Sheets, that can kind of give you an idea on like some of the transformations that are happening behind the scenes. Like you want to transform a certain column in a data frame, that kind of thing. I think that will help in understanding. And really, it's the same learning path as data analyst, which I made a video on in the past. It's like a specific path that I recommended learning for becoming a data analyst. I think that that path just flipped a little bit, whereas you would start with SQL and Excel and learning to become a data analyst. I think you would start with the Python coding first, and then you would flip that to learn SQL and then Excel in terms of importance. But hopefully that helped. Like I said, I just wanted to jump on, explain kind of where I've been for the past 2 months. So if you do have any other questions, just drop them in the chat after this is posted as a video. And other than that, hopefully next time I can have my actual recording software set up so I don't look like a potato. And hopefully the audio was working fine too. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk soon.